Ladies and gentlemen, respected media, I'm very glad to greet you here in Sarajevo and in front of the participants and speakers of the 5th International Scientific Conference on Bosnian Pyramids, Hidden History 2014. I'd like to say that this year's conference, which started September 1st until September 6th, 2014, is dedicated to figuring out the purpose of the Bosnian Pyramid Complex. This is our 5th conference. The first couple of conferences we spent proving that we do have artificial construction complexes above and below the ground in the Visoko Valley. Now we need to try to find the answers. What was the purpose of Bosnian pyramids? The only way to do that is to use interdisciplinary scientific methods. Thanks to a number of scientists, researchers from both ends, physical and spiritual science, we are getting closer every year. This year we have 17 speakers from 12 countries. This project has become the most active archaeological site. It has been attracting a great number of people, tourists, tens of thousands of them every year, this year also, but also volunteers, researchers, and media. Today I'd like to introduce you to several speakers at the conference, and I will ask them to give a brief statement about their opinion on the Bosnian Pyramid Complex, different aspects.
Thank you very much, Sam. I'd like to firstly extend a great deal of gratitude and respect for Dr. Semir Osmanagić for having the courage and the persistence to continue against the often deep ignorance of mainstream academia for the work that he's doing. I know I've experienced the same kind of situation in South Africa in my own research, so that is where we're really deeply connected in our determination to bring the information of ancient civilizations to the world. And to continue that, also a great sense of humility and gratitude for being in such presence of such great minds and researchers, as you can find here at this table, some leading figures in the world of alternative and new sciences and new way of thinking, taking the world into a new era of higher consciousness, which is really where we need to be focusing our efforts today. I had the privilege of seeing Sam Osmanagić's presentation in Saarbrücken, Germany in March this year, and I was highly impressed with his work, his approach, his scientific approach, and his ability to cross mainstream science and deductions into what he refers to as spiritual science, which is an area that should not be separated, in my opinion. What I'm very glad to report and give you my own personal feedback, because I had no idea what I was coming to when I was on my way to Bosnia, that I'm overwhelmed and highly impressed with everything he's done, with the research. The fact that we do have a pyramid, there's no doubt in my mind. I believe we're only at the very beginning stages of understanding the extent of this pyramidal complex and the significance that it played in ancient civilizations and the human history. And finally, one of the common denominators that we have between the Bosnian pyramid and the Bosnian pyramid complex, the tunnels and how it all functions, there's a very strong connection in the scientific measurements, the electronic measurements that Sam and the engineers have been making here, which is consistent with the measurements that I've been making in the stone ruins in South Africa. And that's a very important common denominator that we start finding between pretty much many ancient cultures and ancient civilizations and the stone ruins that they've left behind. So thank you very much. I'll pass it on to my colleague here, Klaus Donner.
zahvaljuje i posle će mikrofon dalje do našeg kolega Klausa Doni iz Austrije.
First of all, I would like to give my highest respect to Dr. Semir Osmanagić, to his team, and to all the volunteers who came here the last years and did a great work. 3 years ago, I got an invitation from Dr. Osmanagić to attend the second conference here in Visoko. And when I saw the list of speakers, I saw they are mostly high-qualified scientists. I thought, oops, I have to bring something which makes them believe my work. A few months before, I just started working with a very, very good friend of mine in Germany who invented a new sensational technology. I asked him, can you do me please a favor and make a scan over the so-called mountain in Visoko, the Sun Pyramid? He was also shocked what he found. We could show a lot of tunnel systems inside the pyramid. I asked him this time also if he could be so kind and do me a favor, a scan over the area and also the first pre-scan over the so-called moon pyramid. And what we found out, some scans I will show this evening, but we think there is a lot of work waiting for Dr. Osmanagić, because what you have here underground is just incredible. And I cannot understand and believe why the city of Visoko and the government of Bosnia-Herzegovina is not assisting and helping more this project, because it would change our thinking about ancient civilizations and history. And whenever somebody is not believing that our scans are precise, we can prove it with some projects we did already, and it was definitely 100% approved. So be sure the scans are reality and the pyramids are reality. Thank you very much.
An engineer Goran Marjanović from Serbia. Engineer Goran Marjanović is Serbian.
First, I want to say that I'm very, very happy because I'm part of this project and work with this team and with all of you. I am sure that I have learned very much through the years of investigations on the Pyramid of the Sun and all objects in this archaeological park. These investigations helped me a lot in my personal investigations. But I am dealing with Tesla technologies. I am engineer of telecommunications. On the first glance, Tesla technologies and pyramidal structures is very questionable. Is there any relation? But in next presentation, I will show you that something like that is very possible. Why this is so important for me and for all further investigations? Because I'm sure, after all of these years, that knowledge of ancients were much higher than our today. And I think that studying and investigating objects like pyramidal structures and the like, sacral objects and similar, we can learn a lot of that and help us in further investigations. Thank you very much.
I pomoću daljnjeg istraživanja. Hvala lijepo.
Tout d'abord, beaucoup de gratitude et de respect pour le travail de Semir Osmanagić.
First of all, a lot of respect and gratitude for the work of Semir Osmanagić.
Beaucoup de gratitude aussi pour toutes les personnes qui contribuent à ce projet titanesque.
A lot of gratitude also for all these people that are contributing at this titanesque project.
Et je sais que en ces temps d'adversité, c'est un challenge pour les temps futurs, pour les temps de révélation.
And I do think that it's a huge challenge in those times to be able to reveal all the things that we're going to discover.
C'est la première fois que je viens ici avec un groupe de Français.
It's the first time that I'm coming here with a French group of people.
Outre les qualités vibratoires remarquables que nous avons expérimentées dans les tunnels de Rafney,
Despite the enormous, huge vibration quality that we had experienced in the Ravne tunnels,
l'idée de se retrouver dans cet espace sacré qui va nous conduire donc à la base de la pyramide est très excitant et enthousiasmant.
the idea of being here and that we, I'm sure, will go under the pyramid of the sun is really exciting.
Et je pense que chaque coup de pioche est un acte sacré.
And I think that every pickaxe shot is a sacred act
Et doit être empli d'humilité,
and must be really be full of humility,
parce que nous sommes face aussi à un système complexe de connaissances qui est encodé sur de multiples niveaux.
because we are heading to really complex sacred codes that are encoded in our many levels.
Et ces niveaux de connaissances nous connectent aussi à différents niveaux d'intelligence de lumière.
And those levels of knowledge are going to connect us into other levels of intelligence.
Mais ces domaines spirituels ces systèmes de connaissances sont en train de pénétrer notre champ planétaire, notre champ de conscience.
Those spiritual realms are being to be embodied into our knowledge field.
Certes, il y a de nombreux défis à relever.
Of course, there's a lot of challenge to define,
Et il y a plusieurs objectifs et buts.
and we have many goals.
Et je pense aussi, d'après notre expérience, que le but, un des buts aussi fondamentaux, c'est de nous rendre conscients.
And one of my goal is to can you do that again?
C'est de nous rendre conscients spirituellement.
Okay,
C'est d'être conscient.
One of the main goal is to reveal us, let's say, about another state of consciousness for all of us.
Que nous faisons partie d'une communauté de lumière.
Because we are all inside a light community.
J'ai eu une expérience particulière dans le K2,
I had a really particular experience in K2,
et cette expérience, en quelque sorte, est un défi pour notre logique.
and this experience is actually a challenge for our logic system.
Avec notre groupe, nous avons utilisé un son spécial, une fréquence sonore spéciale.
With our group, we used a special frequency, a special sound,
Et nous savons que le son peut être une clé d'activation
and we know that sound can be an activation key
qui est capable de transporter notre conscience d'une réalité à une autre.
which is able to transport our consciousness from one level to another.
Suite à cette expérience sonore, j'ai pu observer quelque chose de spécial à l'intérieur de la pierre.
After that special sound experience, I have been able to live something quite special through what is inside the K2.
Et je vais mettre beaucoup de tempérance
And I will use a lot of temperance
et d'humilité,
and humility
parce que nous sommes face à quelque chose de très complexe.
because we are heading into something really complex.
Donc, suite à cette expérience sonore, j'ai pu voir un système gris d'énergie.
After that sound experiment, I could witness of a system of energy grid,
Une grille d'énergie qui était très organique.
an energy grid that was really organic.
Et dans ce système gris, il y avait un réseau d'informations.
And in that system, there was a network, an information network.
Et ce réseau d'informations était parcouru d'ondes mathématiques.
And this information network was all streamed with mathematic information.
Mon sentiment personnel, pour terminer, est que nous sommes en face avec quelque chose qui s'apparente à une espèce de cerveau-mécanisme.
My feeling, to end the speech, is that we are in front of some
cerveau mécanisme.
We are in front of some kind of brain mechanism
Certes, qui enregistre et diffuse de l'information,
which is recording and diffusing information,
mais pas seulement,
but not only.
qui mesure aussi le taux vibratoire de la conscience planétaire.
It measures also the level of the planetary consciousness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Arheološki menadžer Timothy Moon to say a few words. A sada arheološki menadžer projekta Timothy Moon sa Novog Zelanda će da kaže nekoliko riječi. Please.
Good morning and thank you very much. Firstly, acknowledgements to my fellow guest panelists here, thank you very much, and Dr. Semir, and also to my team. I've had approximately 340 people working with me this year from 29 different nations, and without their participation, this project would not advance at all. Despite some setbacks with weather, which has kept us out of the field, we've achieved some good results this year. Our investigation is focused in three main areas: establishing human activity and occupation on our sites in the distant past, material characterization and analysis, and preservation of archaeological features. In terms of establishing human occupation, archaeology is a cumulative process, and although we have 3 weeks of this season yet to finish, our research combined with last year's achievements is providing us very, very clear evidence that there was human occupation in the Bosnian tunnel system. This is evidenced in a number of areas. We have construction material, we have modified stones, and construction materials all in association with an area 200 metres into the system. Last year we obtained a carbon-14 date of 20,100 years. That suggests to us a minimum occupational date. In July, Dr. Semir and I, with a support dive team, we entered the water section and we undertook a survey of approximately 200 metres. At that point, we were approximately half a kilometre into the system. We observed many features, human culturally modified features, and we retrieved a piece of calcite crystal stalactite. This stalactite was sent for materials testing in the USA. Now, the stalactite, of course, is grown from the ceiling, and that would then give us a minimum date at which the tunnel system existed. The date we retrieved from that is 7,400 years before present. Now, this sample was taken from the distal end of the stalactite, which then allows us to calculate and estimate the age of the entire stalactite, which is 22,500 years. So we know that this tunnel system is truly ancient and existed in the distant past. The second area that we're working in is material testing. This process is a scientific process which takes a lot of time. We have 12 items out for material testings in laboratories around the world. These materials are being tested to consider, are they new technologies? We feel that over the next couple of months we will be in a position to issue some confirmational releases in relation to these technologies. But for the purpose of this meeting, I will be issuing a press release this afternoon of the confirmations we have. So in summary, we have a growing body of evidence supporting cultural activity and human occupation in our sites from 20,000 years ago. And I will issue this release in 1 hour. Thank you.
Dr. Paula Violet from the United States of America. Dr. Paula Violet je iz Sjedinjenih Američkih Država. Please, Paula.
I'd like to thank Dr. Osmanagić for inviting me to the conference, and this is my first time to see the Bosnian pyramids. I wanted to see if what I'd heard was true, that these are actual artificial structures. And after seeing with my own eyes the cement, seeing the tunnels, the artifacts in the tunnels, the artifacts in the museum, hieroglyphic writing, items that are of no mistake, they're made by hand, man-made. And what was surprising, possibly even iron rusted in one item, which needs to be verified. this iron is so hard to survive over thousands of years. I have experience studying the Ice Age period, both geologically, astronomically, and also from archaeoastronomy. I believe I can contribute something to understanding how the pyramids became covered with sediment and their dating. My work indicates that space was not as it is today, that there were cosmic events, cosmic ray events affecting the Earth. There were periods when the sun was far more active than it is today. And during these times, cosmic ray intensities on the Earth's surface were very high. And we have legends of the burning of the Earth by the sun. And when you realize that there's actual evidence, for example, that the sun was more active at the end of the Ice Age, we see that these legends may actually be factual reports. And they describe people taking shelter in underground places, caves or caverns that they may have constructed underground. So I believe that one of the purposes of the tunnel complex and the pyramid may have been to take shelter. I think that by getting more radiocarbon dates and other kinds of dates will establish even with more certainty how old this is. And I consider it probably the most important archaeological discovery in the world at this point. It completely pushes back the period of human civilization building large structures. And with the discovery of the language, the writings, it really is going to completely rewrite the textbooks when finally established scientific community accepts what is going on here. And I think it's a mistake for them not to get involved too. And I commend Dr. Osmanagić for his persistence against all this resistance. I don't know if I could do it myself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Valery Varad, pyramid researcher from Russia, istraživač I graditelj piramida iz Rusije, Valery Varad.
First of all, I am honored to bring here respect to send to you and to Bosnia for what you have done here in connection with this pyramid in Visoko. I'm representing here a group of specialists, scientists from Russian Academy of Science, which are engaged in investigation of pyramids and effects of the field of the pyramids on living and non-living origin for the last 25 years. And we came to a very important conclusion that a pyramid, for sure, artificial pyramid, which you have here in Visoko, is one of the most oldest type of pyramids ever built on any planet. Such a pyramids, they played a very important role in a spiritual destiny of the whole civilization. First of all, such a pyramid played the role of GPS marker. On the other hand, this pyramid belongs to and belongs up till now to the whole system of the pyramids covering all over the planet. These pyramids up till now are used, and we are sure about it, by extraterrestrial civilization for very important purposes. And you, I mean people who are living here, you are lucky because this pyramid is only one pyramid left on our planet which has a very important energy information impact on our planet. You are under energetic influence which stimulates here your spiritual potential. I'm sure, I myself, absolutely sure that very, very soon the pyramid in Visoko will play the most important role as the kind of a spiritual center which will connect people living on our planet with other extraterrestrial civilizations. As the man and as the father, I would say this is the best, perfect place to set up here a university, because people who will be living here and learning, they will be under very important stimulating energetic power. I don't know exactly how many years in the future we have to wait, but I'm sure Visoko will become kind of a spiritual center of the world. I'm honored to be here, Sam. I'm amazed by the work which Sam did. He is so strong. He loves his country. And I'm honored to be here together with him.
I počastvujem da je ovdje danas sa mnom. Thank you very much to all panelists. Now I would like Milja to see if you have any questions at this time. If not, I'm glad that you joined us today. The conference will continue with its work in 10 minutes with our first speaker of the day. Thank you very much for coming today, and I hope you'll join us in the future also.